Thank you so much for joining me. I want to share with you something from the book of Proverbs, and I call it the intentional father. You see, there are many crises in families and marriages today that is as a result of unintentional fatherhood, unintentional husbandship, and being unintentional as a man. One thing that you must understand, that the stability of families, the stability of homes, the stability of society rests so much on intentional men. So, as a teacher of intentionality, I like being intentional. Anything you do to be intentional is important. So, look at the book of Proverbs, and I look at Proverbs from the first 7 chapters of Proverbs. If you study it carefully and keenly, you will understand that they are teachings of a father to his son, teaching of parents to their children. One thing that we fail to do as parents, as individual, is intentional parenting. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from that road. So, but for a father to train a child on the road to take, he must also know the right way. Because you can't give what you don't have. You only give from the abundance of what you have. So let me show you just bits and pieces of scriptures to show you that as a father, you must be intentional in your relationship with your children. I have seen many families that it is only the mother that does the calling. The father doesn't check up on his children. You don't call your children. Yes, they are 50, they are 40, they are 30s, they are no more with you. But you must be intentional. A father supposed to be intentional. Carry that phone, call your children, check on them. My son, how are you doing? How is your wife? How is your marriage? How are you faring? There are fathers that don't know what is going on in the marriages of their children. It is only the mothers. And sometimes the women are very emotional. Mothers, the relationship between mothers and children is highly regulated by emotionality, highly regulated by emotions. And that is why in many marriages, you can easily see the mother-in-laws having, issues with the children than the father-in-laws having issues with the children. It is highly. It is not every instances, but it is highly. You can see that mothers could be emotional with their children. Between mother and daughter, mother and son, the regulation is highly emotional. But you see, many fathers, they stay aside from the marriages of their children, from the families. I am not saying interfere, but I am saying ask questions once in a while. You know, give advice, give counsel once in a while. They are very important. Now, I'm going to skim through the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 to chapter 5, and I will pinpoint to you where a father should be intentional. Now, I am talking to fathers. We have many absent fathers in the lives of many children. There are many children growing up, they cannot point to words of wisdom that their fathers put inside of them. They cannot point to 10 things that their fathers have said to them. They can't point. So, intentional fathers are deliberate. They are deliberate in what their children turn out to be in life. They are intentional. They are interested in the outcome of their children's life. An intentional father is not only interested in paying school fees, is not only interested in you bearing their names, they are equally interested in the outcome of their children's life. And so they start training them and teaching them how to be good husbands, how to be good fathers from childhood. But the most important training a father can give to his children is the practical living in his own life, in his own family, in his own marriage. How do you treat your wife? How do you manage the affairs of your home? How do you use the power that you are given as a father? Because you must understand that one of the greatest power that has been given to man on earth is the power of husbandship and fatherhood. It's a great power that is given to you. The greatest power of leadership that is ever existing on earth is the power of leading a woman, leading your wife, and leading your family. It is one of the greatest responsibilities that has been given to men. But how do you use this ability? How do you use this responsibility? And how you use it determine the outcome of your children's life. So that is why David was intentional in raising his son Solomon. He was very intentional. You can see in the Bible where before he died, he called his son and began to counsel him. If I die, this I kept, build the house of God. I have designed everything. Okay, deal with this man, be kind to this person. Because of this and that, be kind to this person. This and that person dealt with me terribly. So deal with him when it is in your own power. So the man was careful in raising a competent child. So as a father, are you intentional? And you must understand, when we talk about father, it is not only about the children that came out of you. So the moment you are a man, you are above 20, 30. In fact, there are some people that became fathers at the age of 10. They started working to pay the school fees of their younger ones at the age of 10. So a man can be father even without having biological children. Biological children do not make a man a father. What makes a man a father is the imprint, is the fingerprint you leave in the lives of children. Is the fingerprint you leave in the lives of children. That is what makes you a father. So in this teaching, I want to talk to men. I want to talk to men. The reason why we have high level of crime, the reason why we have high level of social vices today is because we have fathers that are not intentional. When you have the opportunity to make or to impact the lives of children, you fail to do so. When you were a class teacher, how did you raise the children? When you have access to children that could listen to you, that could look up to you, how were you able to manage those relationships? Now look at verse 8 of Proverbs chapter 1. It says, my son, hear the instruction of thy father. The instruction of thy father. So number one, the role of a father is the role of an instruction giver. What kind of instruction do you give to your children? What kind of instruction is your life giving to your children? If you tell your children, don't break traffic laws, do you break traffic laws? You have your children in vehicle and you come to traffic light and no police, nobody, and the traffic light is pointing red. Stop, stop, stop. Do you drive ahead? When you drive ahead, what message are you telling your children? What message are you giving to the next generation? So, but intentional parents also respect social instructions, respect instructions at work, respect instruction that governs relationships. They respect instruction that govern borrowing and lending. You collect money from somebody and you agree that you're going to pay back in 3 days. Now it is 7 days. Your children are looking at you and you have the money to pay back and you are not making any move to do that. They say, forsake not the law of thy mother. Forsake not the law of your mother. They say, forsake not the law of your mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about your neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. So now, it is the role of the father to teach his children social vices. Teach him about social vices. Teach him about the signs and symptoms of vices in society. If parents, especially fathers, play their role 100%, crime will go down by 100% in society. If fathers play their role of fatherhood 100% in their families, crime will go down by 100% in society. It's as simple as that. The reason why crime will succeed and increase in societies is because fathers are not playing their role in the family. It is not the role of a dictator, but it is the role of instruction giver. So my son, if sinners entice thee, it is the responsibility of the father to show his children these are sinners. And what is sinner here? Sinner are people that break law. People that break social law. Okay, look, let me show you this. He said, if they come and say to you, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us love privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those who go down the pit. We shall find, that is armed robbers. We shall find all precious substances. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have our purse, one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path, for their path or for their foot run to evil, to make haste to shed blood. This is a father pointing to his children. Please, when somebody tells you, let us go and rob somebody and take their good, let it become our own, don't do it. You start instilling this discipline, this instruction from childhood. Now let us go to verse 2, because I want to skim through and show you in the scripture where fathers intentionally teach their children morality, the fear of God. They teach them about the laws. They teach them wisdom. And in verse number 2, chapter 2, Proverbs chapter 2, it says, my son, look at it, my son, if thou will receive my words. So another function of a father is to speak. There are many fathers, they are present at home, but they are absent in speech. There are many fathers, they are present with their children, but their mouths are closed. They don't speak. There is an adage that my mother used to tell me, that the child of the eye is going, and the eye keeps staring, keeps looking. And eventually, the child of the eye went and committed crime, and the child was killed. But the child of the mouth was going to do evil, and the mouth begins to shout, hey, stop, don't go there. The way you are going is the way of evil. The way you are going to end in doom. And the child of the mouth turned back, and it was preserved. So as a father, you have daughters, you have sons. What are you telling them? Do you allow them to just operate and exist Without anybody say, no, my son, no, my daughter, don't go this way, don't go that way, do this, do that. And listen to me, you start training your children even when they're in the womb. You start training your children when the day they were born. You start talking to your children. You start talking to them. You start showing them the right path from childhood, from infancy. Keep talking. Keep talking. Don't just keep looking. Keep talking. And there are some people that conclude, my daughter is very beautiful. My son is very handsome. My son is very intelligent. So they allow their children to exist on their own devices. No parental mentorship. No parent is talking. Everybody is keeping quiet. Everybody is looking, especially the people I am talking to, as the Bible is talking here, the fathers. You can't afford to keep quiet. He said, my son, if thou will receive my word and hide my commandments with thee. God started dealing with men with commandment. Thou shalt not kill. So the duty of a father is also a commandment maker. From infancy, there must be commands in the family. You can't live under my roof and you are a child, and then you just go out and come back the next day without consequences. You can't, no, it shouldn't be so. You can't just talk anyhow. You can't see elderly people and just begin to talk to them disrespectfully. There must be laws, there must be order. And among siblings, you must establish rules and regulations and commandment. There are parents that the younger ones will talk to the older ones anyhow, and the parent will just enter and support the younger ones without looking at the kernel of the cause of that problem. No, there should be law, there should be order, there should be commandment. As fathers in the family, you must set laws, you must set boundaries, and there will be punishment for breaking boundaries, and there will be blessing, and there will be favor when you abide by the rules. I'm not talking about being a dictator or being like the man described in the novel by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie in Purple Hibiscus, as a tyrant at home but a good man outside. No. Don't be high-handed, father, but set boundaries, set commandments, set laws. It says, so that thou incline thy ear unto wisdom and apply thy heart unto understanding. Wisdom and understanding flows from also parents. As you keep on teaching your children wisdom and understanding, they become wise. Let's go to chapter 3 of Proverbs, because I'm skimming. Let's start verse number 1. Let me show you what verse number 1 says. My son, he said, my son, forget not my law, but let your heart keep my commandments. You see law, you see commandment. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to you. When you intentionally teach your children, it will elongate their life. They will not easily delve into crime. They will not easily go into immorality. See, one thing that you don't understand is that never you think that my children are small, they can't understand. No. Keep instructing, keep giving laws, keep giving them instructions from childhood. Keep showing them the path of truth, the path of ethics and morality. From childhood, start teaching them. These things you are teaching them, you are showing them, it is being engraved in their heart. The psalmist said, thy word have I hidden in my heart that I may not sin against thee. So when your words are hidden in the heart of your children, a time will come they cannot just easily find pleasure in taking human lives. They can't find pleasure in stealing. They can't find pleasure in breaking people's heart. They can't find pleasure in in social abnormalities. They can't just find pleasure in oppressing people. They can't find pleasure in doing the wrong things. They can't find pleasure in doing things that are not normal. They can't find pleasure in doing them. Why is it so? Because your words have been hidden in their hearts. So, is there for length of days? Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them. So, this is the Father teaches, let not mercy, have mercy, show mercy, and also show truth. This is a father teaching his child, talking to his child. This is a father communicating wisdom to his child, how to live with people in society. Listen to me. There's a saying that children are born tabula rasa. That is, they are born, their mind is blank. So the society children grow up in has so much influence on them. Yesterday, I and my brother were talking, and he said, what is the need of people building or government building big buildings? Yeah, there's no need for it. I said, no, there is need for building big, like train station, big airport, high-rise story building, because it is also indication of the greatness of the mind of the people. Because when you see a building, I don't just look at the building itself, I look at the mind that conceived the building. The mind that conceived these beautiful things, the mind that conceived these great skyscrapers. It takes a great mind to conceive great ideas and to give birth to great buildings. So it is part of greatness of a people to conceive and to build great things. It shows advancement of the mind, because we don't have third world countries, we only have third world people. We don't have second world people, we have only second world people. We don't have first class countries, we only have first class minds. It's as simple as that. If you see a country advancing in science and technology, if you see a country industrialized, it is not a function of the country, it's a function of an industrialized mind. When a mind is industrialized, then it comes out in physicality. And when you go to a society and it is dirty, it is filthy, it is backward, it is disorganized, it is a function of a disorganized mind. It is out of the abundance of the heart that everything finds expression. So if you go to a house and everything is disorganized, if you go to a society, everything is disorganized, it is not the society, it is the people that live there. And it is a question of doctrine. It is a question of how people were raised to see things. One day in my school, I was just awestruck by the splendor, the beauty of the buildings. And I told myself, these buildings did not create themselves. Somebody created them. And so, it is not about the building you are seeing. This thing existed once upon a time in the mind of somebody. And it therefore means that that mind must be a civilized mind. For it to construct this idea, to conceive this idea, and to construct it in reality. That is equally what happens to children. Every child is a signboard of the parent that trained the child, the parent that raised the child, the environment that raised the child, the family that raised the child. So he said, have mercy and truth. This is a father talking to his child. He said, let not mercy and truth depart from thee. Bind them about your neck. Write them upon the table of thy heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. This is a father talking to his child. This is a father talking to his child. Now let us go to chapter 3. Chapter 3. No, we have done chapter 3. Now we're going to chapter 4. Chapter 4. Verse number 1 of Proverbs. Proverbs 4 verse number 1. Because don't forget, I am skimming through Proverbs to show you the power of intentional parenting. Listen to me. It was David that produced Solomon. It was David that gave birth to Solomon. David himself was a wise man. So he sharpened a wise child because iron sharpened iron. He constructed him. So Solomon is a construction of David. Why is this so? This is a father talking to his child. And Solomon is equally going to show you that the wisdom that he demonstrated did not entirely come from nature. It also come by nurture. The wisdom that Solomon demonstrated did not entirely came from God alone. In as much as he has God for wisdom, and God, I'm going to give you, there equally was a wise father that took him his time to raise a wise child. But do you know what? Solomon failed to raise a wise child to continue with his legacy. The son in the whole Bible, if you are mentioning foolish people, one of them was the son of Solomon. Either is it Rehoboam or Jeroboam, one of them. He's one of the most foolish men that ever came out of the Bible. People said to him, your father used whip to beat us. Now you are the son of your father. What kind of whip are you going to use in dealing with us? The foolish son of a wise father said, I am going to get back to you in a few days. So he went to the old men from the tribe of his father, who were there, also checkmating the excesses of his father. They said, see what the whole land of Israel said to me. And they said, go and tell them, my father used whip to deal with you. I am going to use mercy and kindness and love. The young man went to them. He despised their idea and went to foolish young men like him. And they said, go and tell them, your father used a whip, but you are going to use scorpion and snake. That was how he lost 10 kingdoms out of 12. He said, hear ye children, the instruction of a father. You can see instruction. As a father, do you instruct your children? Do you give them instruction? In as much as we are living in an era where men, the authority of husbands, the authority of men over their family is being cut off by feminism, by toxic feminism, by laws of nations that is, sabotaging the authority of men, which is having side effect in social vices we're having today. But even at that, the role of a father is that of an instruction giver. And your duty now is to go to the dictionary and study what is instruction and obey the laws of instruction. Go and do it, and you will see your family taking a new dimension. He said, hear ye children the instruction of a father, and attend to know with understanding. For I give you good doctrine, forsake you not my law. For I was my father's son. This is Solomon talking to us. For I was my father's son, and only beloved in the eyes of my mother. He taught me also. Now the question is, can your children Say, my father taught me A, B, and C. He taught me also. What are you teaching your children? The major duty of a father is the duty of a teacher. You must be a teacher to your wife, one, to your children, two. That is the number one function of a man, of a father. The number one function, responsibility of a father, the office of a father is the office of a teacher. Office of a teacher. What are you teaching your family? He said, my father taught me also and said unto me, let thy heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. It therefore means that the life of every child, the financial life, the marital life, academic life, intellectual life, spiritual life of children is connected to the teachings of their parents. The teachings of their parents. Every parent must be intentional. If not, you will have children that will die under your shadow. What do I mean? Children dying under the shadow of their parents is that you were able to attain a level because you have parents, in as much as they may not be intentional as I'm teaching now, but they did their best to teach you. And you today, you don't care. You are after money. You are after shifts. You are after money. You are after career. You are after fame. And you don't care to teach your children morality, spirituality, kindness, mercy, tenderness. You don't care to teach them anything. And society taught them. Listen to me. We have two teachers. Either the parental teachers or societal teachers. And when society teaches a child, when the street raises a child, the child becomes a terror to the society. And that is why northern Nigeria is failing. We have many children without father in northern Nigeria under the system called Almajiri system. People will give birth to children. Somebody will boast, I have 40 children, I have 20 children. Where are they? They are nowhere to be found. They are on the street begging. They are on the street. And when the street teaches them, at the end of the day, you have nothing but bandits and terrorists and social miscreants. When society raises a child, the child becomes a terror to that society. When the street raises a child, the child becomes a terror to that society. But when parents intentionally raise a child, that child becomes a tool of social transformation. That child becomes an agent of reformation, an agent of change, an agent of light and not darkness. And do you know what? Society is even more intentional in teaching children ruinous doctrines than parents. There are many parents today. So this is the father that was intentional in teaching his child. He said, get wisdom and understanding, forget it not, neither decline decline from the words of my mouth, forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. This is a father talking to his child. Father, do you talk to your children? Have you ever called your children and sat them down and talked to them and counsel them and advise them and tell them what to do and show them the path to take? Do you do that? Do you do that? And listen to me. It doesn't matter how old your children are. The duty of a father The office of a father is given by birth and taken by death. The office, you are a father from birth to death. The day you are born as a man, you marry, you have children. And don't forget, your first student should be your wife. The first student of every man, of every intentional man, is his wife. Because go and check the meaning of the word groom. Go and check the meaning of the word husband. They are connected to agriculture. These are words that are connected to tending, nurturing, grooming, raising, watering something, raising something, plucking off, removing some weeds, and cultivating, arranging, putting something in order. So the responsibility, the first student of every man supposed to be his wife. Where you are going to fail as a man is in failing to make your wife your first student. If you fail at making your wife your first student, you will have problem in fathering your children because she will come in the way. Who is a teacher? A teacher is a man that has his own philosophy, social vision. He has his ideas of life. He subscribes to a particular thinking. And that is why you can go to school today and you see different departments and you see different lecturers. Some in philosophy, some in psychology. You have teachers in philosophy. We have teachers in psychology. We have teachers in literature. We have teachers in physics. We have teachers in mathematics. We have teachers that subscribe to microbiology. We have teachers that subscribe to the doctrine, to the philosophy of, let's say, Marxist ideology. And there are those that say, no, we subscribe to the ideas of Aristotle. So no, we subscribe to teachings of Plato. So it therefore means that a teacher is a person that understands a subject matter and then consciously transmit his knowledge to another vessel, bringing up that vessel to his own standard. A teacher exists in a dimension that is higher than his student. A teacher exists in a world that is higher than his student. Because if you are a groom, you must exist in a dimension that is higher than the one you are grooming. And so it requires a level of intellectual, emotional, and social, philosophical, intellectual maturity for you to exist in that realm. And that is why a teacher that does not understand some subject matter, he will be ridiculed by his student. There are many marriages that the wives are ridiculing the men because the men don't know what they are doing. There was Dr. Paul Enenche was preaching one day. He said, my wife is sure that I am in the front and she is behind, and I am towing her. I am towing her. I am pulling her to the place where I am. A husband and a wife supposed to exist in different level of social vision. And it therefore means that you have to pull her to the place where you exist. But a woman who has worked on herself and exists at a higher dimension of life, and you want to pull her down to your own mediocrity, to your own uncivility, that is the problem of many marriages today. Because the women were able to academically build themselves, to have a higher social vision, and you came with your own kwashako and chaotic vision of life. Today you say we go here, tomorrow you say no, next tomorrow no. You don't have direction in life. You don't have direction in life. And the woman with laser precision is clear and aware of where she wants to be in life. And she said, I don't want to marry a poor man. And society will say, why is she talking like that? That is her vision. That is where she has built herself to. And so you want to come and pull her down. Say, no, the woman has high taste. Yeah, we know that there are people that have, mad taste, a taste that is mad. But there are people that know what they want, what they are doing. They live intentionally. They are building themselves towards a particular goal, towards a particular end. And you don't have end, you don't have beginning, you don't have anything. And say, love me the way I am. No, it is not so. So this is a father saying his father taught him. And I say, the first student of a man supposed to be his wife. That is the person that you have to start teaching your vision. Start teaching her your philosophy. Start teaching her your morality. Start teaching her your spirituality. Start teaching her. So that when you have successfully indoctrinated your wife into your school of thought, and your children come along, then they are all told along the line of your social vision. There is a scripture in the Bible that the Calebite, their fathers say, don't drink wine. And the next generation came. They say, our father Calebite said, don't drink wine. The generation left. The Calebite generation left. Another one came to the generation where the story was written. The prophet tested and said, come and drink wine. They say, our ancestors taught us that we should not drink wine. What did your great-grandfather teach your father? What did your grandfather teach your father, taught your father? What did your father taught you? What were you taught? What are you teaching your own children today? When you successfully teach your wife, then the two of you will successfully raise and intentionally impart your children. And don't forget, it doesn't mean that when a student is coming to your class, the student does not have his own ideas. No. So in the place of teaching and mentoring your wife to come up to where you are, to your social vision, it becomes important to also identify her own vision, her own philosophy. Then you synthesize the two and then objectively bring out now not only my vision, but a family vision of life. A family vision of life that you bring it out, that you can use that philosophy, that vision to raise your family and to show them the right way to go. I have overdwelt on this. Let us go to Proverbs chapter 5. It's my son again. He said, my son, attend unto my wisdom. Are you wise? Attend unto my wisdom and bow thine ear unto my understanding, my own now. So a father must come to the table with wisdom and understanding. Wisdom is the ability to apply, it is what the ability to apply knowledge. What do you know? What can you do? He said, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. Your lips may keep knowledge. Knowledge. Let's go to chapter 6 of Proverbs. It says, my son, if thou be shorty to thy friend, Now, you see now, this is now leaving the realm of the family to regulate children and their own friends. How do you live with your friends? Before we even talk about how do you live with your wife, how do you live with people in society? So now the father is equally teaching him how to regulate his friendship, how to live with his friends. He said, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snare. You just see somebody, you become a shorty to the person. He said, be careful. He said, be careful. And this is a father teaching his child. For the sake of time, let us jump to chapter 7. This is the end. It said, my son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of your eyes. But if you don't teach, what are they going to keep? It takes a father who has taught his children for him to tell them, remember what I've taught you. And that is why, technically speaking, every father should be a writer. There comes a point in time where you should write things. My children, A, B, C, D. It is left for those who will listen and those who will take it. It is not your duty. But with the knowledge you have, the wisdom you have, make sure you don't die with it. You transmit it to the next generation. He said, bind them upon thy fingers and write them upon the table of thy heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinsmen, that they may keep thee from the strange woman. Now, strange woman is now, because the child has grown, that he has grown beyond friends. Now, to women, there are kinds of women that you have to be careful of. So, this is a proverb. And then let us jump to Proverbs chapter 10. He said, the Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a father glad. But how can you have a wise son when you have taught him nothing? My mother used to say that every child is like a piece of land. It's like a piece of farmland. It is your responsibility to plant a seed on that piece of land. But if you fail to cultivate the land, to prune, to remove grasses, weeds will overrun the land. And once weeds overrun the land, when men are harvesting, you will have nothing to your name. That is how many men are. You have children, they are like a piece of land, but piece of farmland, you didn't do anything, you didn't put fertilizer, you didn't remove weeds, you didn't disconnect and connect and remove and prune, and you are expecting the children to be fruitful. Then you look at the children of others, they are fruitful, they are bearing fruit, and your own, they are not fruitful, they are not bearing fruit, and you begin to question them, you become angry, you become a witch, you begin to practice witchcraft. But when men were raising their children, you were nowhere to be found. So my teaching today is to show you that as a father, you have to be intentional. You can't afford not to be intentional if you must raise children that will stand out in life, children that will bring you greatness and that will bring greatness upon themselves. For the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. It therefore means that children don't really know the way to go. It is the duty of the parents to show them the way to go. And when the children are old, they won't depart from that path. Thank you, and see you at the top.